There's moments in life where sometimes lying is the smarter choice, sometimes telling the truth is the smarter choice.
This is your fault.
What? Okay, let's stop. What? What the hell?
So the two of us, they ended up taking us out west to the Witch's Circle.
There needs to be talks, and people need to agree on certain things.
Sacrificing one of their members yesterday over the corpse of a woman who laid on a fire.
I thought I was doing the right thing, and I ended up just hurting people, and that's not what I wanted.
Notice there's one of your people that are very noticeably absent. Where's Callista?
He told me, go to her, go, run.
His exposure to the cults has weakened his resolve.
I think it's time you let everybody else know what happened.
Just catch Matt up real quick here, catch you up. So they ran into two men wearing red armbands by the name of Ben and fucking Jack. You know, we've had the cult come by many times before. They had an interest with us in Samaritan's death. They came here at the barn. It was me and Callista just by ourselves. First they walked in, they introduced themselves, you know. We offered them some food, we were sitting by the fire. Everything seemed normal. Then they leave, and they come by, I don't know, 15 minutes later with someone else. I can't remember his name. But basically they started asking questions. They were asking about us and about the Samaritan and his death. They started asking about a messenger by the name of Slim. Now, this was a man that showed up back at the well there months ago, saying that he was sent by men in robes to deliver a message to Callista. But she was never awake when he came by. I haven't seen him since. I don't know, A, if he's still even alive, or B, how these men, Ben and fucking Jack, even knew about this guy. Well, turns out that they're part of the cult, and they were sent here to take Callista and do with her what I wasn't sure at the time, but I made sure, you know, wasn't just gonna let her go by herself. So the two of us, they ended up taking us out west to the Witch's Circle. We didn't know at the time where exactly we were going, what we were doing, or who we were meeting with, until we got to the Witch's Circle. They made us drop all our shit, and then they tried to force us both inside the circle. When we refused, they were going to take Callista. So I was about to step in the circle myself when she volunteered. And the next thing I knew, I was the next tree line over, away from the circle. And then all of a sudden, I just hear Callista scream. And I just in this tree with one of these guys, and he told me, go to her, go, run. So I turned around and I ran back to the circle, and everyone was gone except for Callista. She said that they knocked her out and they wanted to use her as a vessel to bring Samaritan back. Now, she said they injected her with something. I don't know what. She said she thinks it's just saline, but she hasn't been the same since then. Just kind of been keeping this to myself, and she asked me not to tell anyone, but now with LB mentioning how Aspen's missing, we have these characters, fucking Jack and Ben, back in the picture.
What have you done? You fucking lied. You lied to me. You partook in the most base and vile rituals. You consorted with the cult, and you didn't even have the courtesy to say something until now.
You know, I was trying to respect Callista's wishes and her privacy, and she told me not to tell anyone, and I gave her plenty of chances to try and tell everyone, and I failed her that day. I should have stepped in the circle. I should have
failed us
killed them.
all.
I should have protected us better.
They sow seeds of division, and we start operating without speaking to each other, without sharing insights. They isolate, and then they conquer. Where's Callista? Has anyone heard from her?
No.
She may be lost to us. From now on, listen everyone, from now on, we do not act alone. Is that understood? You don't have to believe in what I believe, but know this. The battle that is before us is one that is going to be fought with more than just bullets and political maneuverings. It's very important that we stay true to our mission. Hope. We must keep hope alive at all costs.
People panic when these stories comes out. I don't even know if we should share the information. Like, I don't know. People panic. Like, that's what they do. They spread terror just by the stories of, but just by mentioning them.
The more you spread the panic and the fear, the stronger they get. But without letting people know they're around, how can people, be ready to fight? That's the hard balance.
It seems like the more hostile the parties are, the more willing they are to aid in maybe curing the disease that is the cult. I hate to say it, but maybe our enemy of our enemy is our friend.
I will say, I remember before the storm, when the cult was active in town, that Forsaken Loyalists were actively pursuing them.
They have a role to play in the battles to come. It would be wise for us to let them know something.
It may be beneficial on our part to control some cards of the deck.
Right. I will say they do know that the cult has been around, that they were asking for Callista. But
They
that's
cannot
as far as they
know
know.
about what happened with the two of you, because they will not be as understanding as we are, and they will not hesitate to end you.
Alright, gentlemen, it's good to see. Who do I have here? Novak, we've met before. Barnaby, you were a recruit the last time I saw you. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
And the gentleman to your left is...
Well, that would be Justin.
Oh, sorry, you changed your hat. I didn't quite recognize you. I guess we'll get straight down to business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 523. Okay, well, I think we owe you about 400 more nails for what you've given us today. So
Okay,
we'll
perfect.
make the arrangements. We'll try to get you those pretty quickly.
Yeah, we really wanted to, kind of just take this opportunity, reopen the lines of communication, and, just open up, potential for further business down the road.
You've always been quite generous with your payments. Oh yeah, apologies for the convoluted way of meeting. The last few meetings we've been in, we've had to shoot our way out. And the meeting
Yeah.
before that, well, I'll give you a barrel if you kill Sam Finch, and let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we understand the precautions, so no worries on that.
Speaking of Sam Finch, it's Tom here.
I'm right here, Blake. Didn't say hi
Sorry.
to me.
You had an incident not too long ago at the OSCC, right?
I did. Yeah.
Tell the rest of the class, because some of these people weren't present.
Me and Callista were at the ORCC, and it let us in when I believe, well, I know it was you guys, took down the gentleman holding the lock to the gate. I heard you guys outside, and I was like, hey, it's Tom from the Overlook. We don't want any trouble. We just want to get out of here. To which you guys didn't reply.
Yes. Were any of your people injured?
Weren't, but at the time, wasn't supposed to think. Wasn't until I got up on that watchtower, and I saw, and I was about to shoot one of you guys, but I pulled my shots, and I said something along the lines of Jesus, FL, or Second Loyal, or something like that.
It's a good choice. But our policy is that there's no innocence inside the walls of the Outrider Caravan Company, only degrees of guilt. You go there at your own risk, we cannot provide your safety. Just so that we're clear.
They don't honor their contracts very well.
We are clear on that. All the trade is centered in the West.
The trade that matters is wherever it needs to be.
Trade that matters, I was thinking maybe we could set something up to bring the trade back to the East.
Go on.
Go on.
You guys obviously have a way to acquire things, but not everybody buys from you, right? As certain actions, but they are what they are. Business, as you guys say. I was thinking, maybe we could set something up in the east. It could be a better trading outpost than the orc.
Do you have a specific arrangement in mind, or are you talking in general terms?
Well, right now in general terms, because it's hard to pinpoint a certain location. There needs to be talks, and people need to agree on certain things.
Would this be staffed by your fine people here?
Well, that's where I run into the issue. You see, most of the Overlook are farmers, providers. We would have to find good traders amongst these people, our group and your group.
We kind of would rely on our neutrality, hopefully aiding in the less hostile actions towards us. We seem to have been getting visitors of, all forms recently, which is kind of interesting to see.
You mean from all corners?
From all over.
Exactly what we mean by interesting visitors.
I guess that's information. Information, I guess, would need to be earned.
It is hard to agree on a contract that works for both parties without having specifics detailed. The idea sounds promising.
We may have come across some information recently about mysterious folks who are conducting activities in the area.
We know.
Your guys' name come into the conversation.
I can imagine they naturally do.
How so? You're looking at a walking fossil over here.
Just so happened a few individuals were blaming certain other individuals wearing a certain armband performing acts yesterday. Then we retrieved information solely after that you individuals might have been donning those particular armbands yesterday.
As the vice president of the club, I would know about certain things, and I am drawing a complete blank here.
In a show of good faith, why don't we just speak to these guys about what actually went down?
Okay. We're having a pleasant visit with the vigil when we stumbled upon two people that go by the name of fucking Jack and Ben, who seemed to don a red armband with nothing on it. They had many claims of individuals donning a brown armband with a bird on it, sacrificing one of their members yesterday over the corpse of a woman who laid on a fire.
It sounds like...
Yes, the cult of Papa.
Yeah, fuck them.
Which I had met them before in Cantina, shortly after the Samaritan had passed. They claimed that one of their own that went by the name of Bobby, I think it was cut and he bled over a woman of wood who laid on a fire. Shifty then informed us that Aspen has been missing for some time. Dam actually showed up and Harvey performed a pretty thorough interrogation of these individuals. He sent them on their way to get more information about what he assumed was 506, performing these rituals. He gave them a chance, but I mean, you and me both know 506. I don't know if they could read a book, nevertheless perform such rituals that they were describing. Shortly thereafter, after Dam and everyone had left, a man by the name of Mr. Eggfoot showed up. He explained to us how he was deceived by a Commonwealth member and a bunch of individuals dressed up, donning armbands, walked into their trading post and later removed them and identified themselves as FL. It seemed uncertain as to what's really going on.
This is a rather serious accusation.
Oh, it's not an accusation, it's just communication.
No, we do not sacrifice someone to the cult. It's rather an insulting suggestion, to be honest.
I don't want you to misconstrue LB's story to say it's an accusation. It's an information sharing because we know that you would be very interested in knowing that this information is going about.
Well, we knew about these two gentlemen you described, Ben and Jack. We've known about them for quite a while. Allegedly, whatever they saw at the circle, they wanted to broadcast, right?
Yeah, they were seeking people at a tower to relay their message across the land. But supposedly no one was at altar, so they were going to seek a broadcast group or something to further their message.
I appreciate you bringing this to us. Our policy has always been that cult-related information comes to us first, so I appreciate it. On that note, I noticed there's one of your people that are very noticeably absent. Where's Callista?
That's a question we've been asking ourselves. Haven't seen her in a while now.
It's been what, maybe
Weeks?
2 weeks, week, yeah.
But I haven't heard from her in a while, and no note, nothing. Well, last I saw her was at the barn, at the Overlook.
Okay.
Go ahead, Blake.
When we last spoke to you, just a few days ago, when we set this thing up, I think you seemed to say that she'd come back and everything was well, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, since Samaritan's death, she took it really hard. So she goes through periods where she'll kind of be around for a while and then kind of leaves and goes out to clear her head or just, rest. And then she'll, be around again and help us farm and feed people. And then she kind of repeats it. And, it seemed like she was back at least for a while this last time around, but it appears not.
And you haven't heard where she's gone? She hasn't written you a note, explained anything to you, perhaps explained her absence, told you something?
No, like I said, she usually leaves something to let us know, hey, I'm just going to be out of town for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it might be. But as far as I know, none of us have heard from her, and that's just making me a little more worried, especially now hearing this Ben and fucking Jack, as he calls himself, are now back in the land.
He went to Story one day, to the Overlook, back when you still had the complex near the piano house. Before the gas bombs attacks, I think. I don't blame you for moving. We took something. Do you want to guess what we took? It's something you probably won't guess, but I'll give you a chance.
I'm assuming maybe a cult book or something, if I had to guess.
You're close.
I know they were leaving those around town.
Why don't you go a little more ambitious?
There wasn't a robe, was there?
It was. It was a gift for Callista, the note said. Had to have been left within the hour when we got there. No one else had claimed it, so we took it.
Yeah, the cult has been after Callista for a while. I'm not gonna lie to you. They've been targeting her for quite some time.
The one time that the cult did show up at the piano there, it was just before, I believe. They had sent, I might have mentioned this to you in the past before the last storm, but they had sent a messenger named Slim.
Miles.
Who was the one? No, that was a different time. That was at Samaritan's death. There was a man named Miles, and that was when we saw the cultists appear in the robes. But then another time, they sent a man named Slim. Now, this was like just a
that's the one.
regular survivor that I had met at the Overlook. And he came by weeks later saying how he was running in the woods somewhere north of Guglovo, I believe. And a man in a robe popped out of the forest. And he said through threats of violence and psychological torture, he had sent this man Slim to the Overlook to try to find Callista to deliver a message. Now, I've seen this man once or twice since then. Callista was never there when he was around, so I don't know if the message was ever delivered. But one of the times he did show up, Torchwood was there. So as far as other people knowing, Torchwood is aware that the cult was coming around asking for her. But I believe that's probably the extent of the experience they've had with the cult in Stroy.
So what you're saying is the only group beyond the two in this room here that would be able to forge a note would be Torchwood, correct?
I guess, yeah, you put it like that. Yeah, they're the only ones who would know outside of us that the cult was looking for Callista. So.
Because we made inquiries if anyone had seen Callista. The usual response was, "She's not in trouble, is she?" I don't know why people ask us that. We didn't tell anyone why, and
Sometimes
the
if we're
list
Any
is
sharp
plentiful.
time you
tongued,
met
gets her in trouble.
Callista, I mean,
Where does Callista leave you notes when she goes on trips and such?
Usually she'll leave it in the barn to let us know.
Okay. She's German, right?
Yes.
See, before all of this, I finished high school and I went to Europe to go party, and then the fucking apocalypse happened, so that kind of sucked. But I took a half a year of German. I know a little bit. You know, it was something that's really kind of distinctive. When you're writing a letter to someone, you always write it to, let's just say, Roland. To Roland, comma, I have. And you capitalize the word I, right? That's just what you do. It's ingrained. We're foreigners here, we all speak English, right?
That's what my fucking school taught me.
In German, when you do the same thing, you say, hallo, you leave a comma. You don't capitalize the first word at all. It's just lowercase.
Ah, okay.
It's
Interesting.
subtle. It's one of those language things that you pick up when you learn that sort of thing. So I'm going to ask you again, are you sure Callista hasn't left you a note in the recent week?
Not that
Like, what are you trying to
we're
get at?
aware of.
You're going to want to look at this. You especially, Justin.
What? What the
What's happening,
fuck?
Justin?
you did this. This is your fault.
What? Oh, Callista, what? What the hell? What the hell's going on?
How can I have let this happen? How can I have not seen it? Why didn't Mother say something? Why wouldn't Mother tell me? How would I miss the signs?
Want to explain how this is his fault? Over?
Could this be torture? Messing with our heads?
Do they have motivation? Do they have the means? Yes, anyone can write a pen. Do they have, and they know the information that Callista's been searched for? Do they have the motive? That's a question for you.
And would they know how to write as her?
Who else would know about your trip to the circle? We just discovered this today.
So, full disclosure, the cult, when they came by one time, it was me and Callista in the barn, and two men came up to us by the names of Ben and fucking Jack. They coerced us out west to the Witch's Circle, and there they tried to use one of us as a vessel to reincarnate the Samaritan. Now Callista had volunteered. They knocked her out. They injected her with something as they dragged me away. And when I came to and realized what was going on, I sprinted back to the circle, and everyone was gone except for Callista, and she was
Slow down there.
in rough shape.
You said when you came to. What did they do to you?
I
Have any
mean-
of the Overlook been able to inspect him to see if he has any marks? Was he also
We have
potentially
not.
injected?
We have not.
Inspect away. Pretty sure I would remember if that had happened.
I mean, I believe the exact words were "pass out" from his mouth.
No, I said when I had sort of came to. I was not
Came-
passed
okay,
out,
came-
just
came-
in a daze per se, I'd say, more than.
Now that passed out in a day, you would remember things then.
What is this, Justin? Look at your arm, Justin.
I think your eyes playing tricks on you, Novak. He looks pretty clean to me.
What is that, Justin?
I don't see anything. I don't know.
Mother's
You
marked
tell us,
you.
Novak. You tell us what you see instead of playing around the bushes. I hate
Mother
this
has
shit.
marked him. Put your clothes on. His soul has been weakened. His exposure to the cults has weakened his resolve.
You're implying he is now corruptible.
I'm implying that we have a lot of work to do to ensure he has the strength to fight the battle that is to come.
There's moments in life where sometimes lying is the smarter choice, sometimes telling the truth is the smarter choice. Is there a particular reason you conveniently left out that you went to the cult circle with members of the cult?
Yeah, you know, I'll admit maybe I shared this all way too late because I feel responsible, and maybe it should have been me in the circle that day. You know, I let this happen to her.
Justin, do you realize me and LB would have known who fucking Jack and Ben would have been yesterday if you've told her?
I know. I thought I was doing the right thing, and I ended up just hurting people, and that's not what I wanted.
We'll check the radio at a different frequency, because this one really annoying guy keeps turning on the radio at the worst time. Alright, cool.
Yeah, you were saying you heard someone on earlier?
Okay. Yeah, we'll be dealing with him later. But 99.7, how does that sound from now on?
Yeah, we can
That
do that.
works.
Duly noted.
New name, since the names we've been using have been used for quite a while, and also
Yeah.
used on the radio when we had an eavesdropper. Well, you pick this one, Justin.
How about, Sebastian?
Done. Sebastian it is.
Okay, so we have this unknown can of food on the floor,
Oh no.
just waiting to be munched down in one go as fast
I'm
as
getting
you
as
can.
full as possible.
We'll just see what happens, and we're doing rock, paper, scissors to see who's gonna eat it.
So whoever, alright, 1,
Yeah,
2, 3,
Okay.
go.